My name is Tammy, and I am with the Sun Prairie YMCA. We're going to talk a little bit about posture and stronger core. So obviously we're building through that through some of the systems that we're working on now. Stability through the midsection is going to affect pretty much everything about the way you move, whether that be walking, doing yard work, working, sitting, standing, whatever you're doing there. Having a nice strong core is one of the more important things that you can do to actually help yourself to move better. It also affects our breathing, our posture, our digestion, whole lots of things here. But not everybody likes getting down on the ground and just punching out a bunch of crunches or things like that, and not everyone is comfortable doing planks. So what I'm going to do here is just a very short, brief period with a standing Pilates series, and I'm actually going to incorporate weights. You do not have to do that. It's just kind of a nice piece to add a light set of weights with that because it helps you to really actively feel those abdominals right away. Now you might not need that to start off with, but as you progress forward, it's just a little piece that you can make into this. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about actually engaging. So a couple of things that you can do from there is if you're wanting to know if you're actually engaging the transverse, which is a weak spot for a lot of folks, you can actually bring your finger towards your belly button and one finger just down below about an inch or so. You're going to draw in and up. You should actually feel this bottom finger move in and upwards. If it's still just kind of sticking out or you're just not firing it, then that's a whole different piece from there. And there's a couple of exercises that you can do to actually help you to engage and to fire that. But in particular, as we're working through the exercises that we're going to do here, we are going to stay fully engaged. So we're going to only engage enough to do the exercises and to do them properly and to keep ourselves upright and balanced. So the first thing that we'll do is we're going to stand up straight. We're going to ground the feet into the floor and just very lightly cup the floor. So that's going to feel, you should feel the arches of your feet raise up just a little bit as you do that and help to steady you as you use those toes. With shoes these days, a lot of us have kind of a tendency to not work all of the muscles in the feet. This is a particular exercise you can certainly do with no shoes on, and it actually is probably a good thing to do with no shoes on. As I mentioned, I'm going to grab some weights as we get started from here. And the piece that is going to work through this is that we're working the upper and the lower body in tandem. So that helps to fire a lot more muscles and it gives us just a little bit more challenge. The exercises themselves, you can do these completely with no weights whatsoever. But the first thing that we will do is we're going to stand up. We are going to roll the shoulders back and just stand as tall as we can. So the knees are not locked out, but we are standing up. Our feet are rooted into the ground. I'm going to turn it just a slight diagonal so you can see what I'm doing from here. I'm going to take my front foot, my left foot, and I'm going to turn my leg out slightly so that my heel is kind of pointing in and towards the ceiling here. I can point my toe, I can flex my foot, I don't care. I'm going to stand up nice and tall, and I'm just going to lift that foot up as I draw those arms back. I'm going to let that come back just very nice and easy. Now I can bring that all the way back in, or I can just let it come back to the ground. Now, if you are not ready to actually engage that far even, you can always slide that foot along the floor and slide that back in. So a lot of this is going to be just incorporating simple movements. Again, we're standing very nice and tall from here. We're letting that foot come back out as we extend and reach. We're thinking a long length here. So we're going to do a set of 10. We're going to stay on one leg. And as we stay on this leg through this short series here, we're trying to make sure that we don't let that hip drop out to the side, but we, again, stay tall, beautiful posture through here, and let the movement initiate and move through the midsection. We're going to do 4 more here. And here we're keeping the arms long and just a nice reach back. We squeeze those elbows slightly together as we come back from there, opening up the chest, but you'll feel the work in the triceps, in the back of your shoulders. Let's go one more time. And then we're going to change that and we're just coming out to the side. As we come out to the side from here, we're going to take the arms out for a lateral shoulder raise. So we do not need to go 1 ounce higher than parallel to the floor. Now the same thing here, you can always slide that toe out, come back into center, and slide the toe out. Now we're trying to keep our center of mass place, right? So you can also lift that leg up. And as we do that, we're going to slightly rotate that toe in, leading out with the ankle, and again, remaining tall. You'll feel both of those the hips, the shoulders, and the abs all fire up as everything works together to help us to hold that balance in while we complete the movement. Getting our breathing connected with that, it's very typical for people to hold their breath. What we actually would like to do is a nice big inhale as we reach up and exhale as we close. We have 3 more. And here's 2. This is also going to give you some really good shoulder work, right? And last one. So these are supposed to be lightweight so that we're not going to be coming in. They get heavy, obviously, as the time goes on, but we don't want to start off with something that's really super heavy because we want the focus to be here. So this time we're going to take it and we're going to bring the arms to the front. And again, parallel with the floor is plenty. They don't need to go one bit higher than that because, again, we want to keep that tension. We can slide the foot back or we can lift it, but we're going to go straight behind us. So we're not going at an angle on here. We're just going straight back. So we can lift those hands up and back into center. Reaching back up, just nice and easy from there, squeeze. So as we do that, again, we're trying to keep long length so that we don't tip forward into a bent position. We actually want to focus on standing up nice and tall so that we don't get the work in the low back so much other than what we want to make work, right? And again, sliding that foot out is very easy. I believe we have 2 more. We're shooting for somewhere in the rep range of 8 to 10 here. Okay, we're gonna leave it with that for there. So we're gonna move to the other side. So this is just a very short, sweet thing. It shouldn't take you very long to do. You can do more than 1 set, obviously. A couple of them though is usually plenty as we go from here. So once again, I'm gonna stand up, I'm gonna reset, roll my shoulders back and stand up tall, draw in. I'm going to let this ankle rotate towards the ceiling, keeping that posture, squeezing back as I come to center, and let that foot come back and down. And again, I want to make sure that I breathe, and then I move nice and slow. The slower you can move through this, the better. And if it bothers you, if you struggle with balance a little bit for this, try and keep your gaze nice and steady. And just focus on that point. That will help you quite a lot. Also, doing this barefoot allows you to actually feel that foot. If you're rolling in or out, using those toes to slightly grip the floor. And we're going to relax and come back into center. So this time, again, we're going to go straight out to the side. So we're just going to, again, as we take the foot out, we're going to lead with the heel to the side and slightly rotate that foot in. You're going to feel that bone in your hip rotate just a little bit, which is exactly what we want from here. Again, you can take this out for a lateral raise as we come. Trying to keep that center of mass nice and steady. We're trying to balance over that 1 foot without shifting way to the side, right? It's a little bit. We just don't want it huge. In other words, we don't want to be tilting to the side like we're an airplane going in. Good, good. Again, just focus on what you're feeling here. And our last one here. Bringing that back and down. So then the last part that we're going to do for this is just extending that leg back behind us as the arms come to the front. So opposing directions as we come into here. And again, standing up, find that gaze. We can again slide that foot back, zipping up through the center here. Or of course, we can lift it. And again, our goal is to stay tall. So we don't necessarily want to come where we're going to lean forward into that. That's basically what we're resisting, right? So we're working all of the muscles up through the spine. Obviously, by now you can probably feel those muscles in the hips, especially on the standing leg at this point. And we're still connecting with the breath. We have 2 more. releasing that back down. So that's just a very short, simple little way that you can do. It'll give you actually more work than you think, because you're going to be working through the hips. You're also working your shoulders, definitely working all the way around the center and the midsection here. So it's brief, it's short, and it's relatively easy to do, but it covers a lot of ground because it also helps with your balance and your posture as you move through that. So if you have any other questions or any thoughts, looking for more ideas and suggestions, we are always welcome at the Y, so please come and join us, and we will see what we can do to help. Thank you.